last year during 2016, you might be like, oh, hey, I've watched Clash Royale esports for a long time. Why haven't I seen Ace before?
Yeah.
Well, there's an age limit, and he aged into it this spring, and has since then just been crushing. His first major live event this weekend, and he's looking to prove that he belongs here.
Oh, he's already proved it in my mind. Being able to qualify in the top 8 absolutely means that you deserve a spot here, and being able to get a higher ranking, top 8 is good, but top 3 even better, top 2? Where do you think that they might wind up?
Ooh, well, I mean, right now, I think Viva La Sparky's in the lead, so, I mean, if Ace wins, it's going to be a crazy underdog comeback story, so he's got to put it away here against Vulkan. I really like how Vulkan's doing double siege decks. A lot of these players might be ready for, like, Expo, but probably not a player who's going to have Expo and Mortar as both their decks, and you might not have 2 decks that match up well against Siege.
Thing is, even if he beats Vulkan here, he's got to go up against Surgical Goblin, YouTube creator, and has been champion of every tournament he's played in ever since ESWC 2016, I think, when he got second place.
He's never finished lower than second place in any tournament I've seen. And he certainly doesn't want to get that streak to end today here at the King's Cup.
Not at all. The first big international tournament has brought some big names from the Clash Royale competitive scene, and this game is starting off.
Look at Ace! Confident on stage, winking at his opponent after a good play.
I like it. Well, Ace is going to be playing a big, heavy P.E.K.K.A. deck here. Now, I haven't quite seen the win condition for the deck yet, but it looks like he might be going for it right now. Ice Golem is backing up this Graveyard push out the right.
And the Tombstone comes down. Tombstone's a pretty decent counter to Graveyard because it's both a big building that draws skeletons to it, and of course it pumps out skeletons to combat them.
Great play by Vulkan. I was worried that might not even be able to get the Goblin onto the King Tower, but with his King activated, that is going to be real difficult to get those Graveyard Goblins, or Skeletons, excuse me, to stack up on a tower now.
The first Graveyard is always the toughest one to deal with because you're not ready for it. It kind of surprises you. But looking at Vulkan's deck list now, I mean, Tombstone, Log, Ice Wizard, all very good against Graveyards. He does have the tools to fight it. He's just got to have a heads-up play and be in the right cycle.
It's time to see if Vulkan can deal with a massive P.E.K.K.A. push out the left. Is he going to be able to push this off? I haven't seen any Infernos in his deck yet, either in Tower or the Dragon, so he's really got to swarm and take this big old Mama P.E.K.K.A. down. He's almost got it. There she goes.
And that Expo is still healthy, having not taken a single point of damage, and it is going to shoot that tower for a lot. The poison ticks down, but kind of slowly.
Yeah, it's a damage advantage for Ace, but a great inroad for Vulkan here, and he is not going to go down without a fight. Rocket out the left lane, wipes out the tower.
No,
this is the Mega Minion.
Aim for the Shadow. The Shadow is a little too far back, but at the same time, you're hitting 10 Elixir. You don't have time to wait. You got to get that Elixir out of your hand.
That's the sort of play that Vulkan made last game, though. He recognized that he only needed to get a little bit of damage with the Expo, get an inroad, and then just wipe him out with spells. It'll be only 2 more rockets to get the win out there, and he can play very smart, slow defense against Ace's big, heavy deck.
Especially because P.E.K.K.A. is such a weak offensive option. Amazing defensive card, amazing counter-attacker. But when you have to go on the offense with it, it can be a little sketchy. Well, Ice Wizard gets pulled away. Log used to clear out more of the skeletons. The splash damage of the Baby Dragon, though, does get onto the tower, getting a few hundred more.
Tornado pulled that Ice Wizard toward the front of the tower, trying to get a little bit of splash damage from the Baby Dragon. Looks like he didn't tear the tower all the way down, but if Vulkan goes through the Expo here, he might get a lock and finish this game off in a fast way.
And the Goblins go down, clearing out more of those bodies. The Expo locks on. Here we are in a race. There is less than 500 on his bottom right tower. Top left tower drops under 500 as well, but the Mega Minion takes it out.
That's his rocket race. The game is over.
2.
Vulkan just needs to get to 6 Elixir.
4, 5, 6, fire! And Ace drops the first game to 8th seed, 8th pick. Vulkan, as the Viva La Sparky team, is going wild on the balcony.
A 1-0 lead for Vulkan. Wound up getting the win against Ace, but can he pull the wool over his eyes twice in a row?
Do not adjust your monitors. Both of these players are at 10 Elixir and waiting. Very common thing to see in pro matches when both players have opening hands that they don't want to commit a lot of Elixir to the board. So both players playing very cautious at first, and now we're going to start seeing the action fold.
Nice Ice Golem catch out the left lane. That will be able to pop apart.
One bat.
Only one of the bats. The other one survives, and that's actually about 500 damage at the left lane. Good hit for Vulkan.
He's pulling the Mega Minion over, but maybe to his disadvantage. You don't want that Mega Minion locking onto the mortar.
Not at all, and it's kind of surprising really that Vulkan has actually opted to go with the mortar here. The card actually has a little bit of a vulnerability ever since the last update, and it sometimes has difficulty locking onto any target if there's something at the very peak of its minimum range.
The last second Knight comes in to save the day, and this could be a huge turnaround here because mortar, you're right, has a minimum range. When things get a little too close, it starts shooting at the tower. 2 mortar rocks hit that tower and bring it down to 1475.
The only card in the game that has a minimum range, but over over on that left side has dealt 1,000 damage plus to Ace's tower, and he could switch into Spell Cycle at this point.
I think 3 rockets is kind of a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but you're right.
Ace
Mortar's a
isn't throwing
cheap,
anything at him
effective
yet.
thing. I like how he does just the minor cycles as well to get in there, because the problem with running, just throwing a rocket on an empty tower is that you're down to 4 elixir. It's the same as playing an elixir collector, but you never get that elixir back like you do with a collector.
Ooh, Poison, an absolutely crucial inclusion for Ace on this left side. Wipes out the Goblin Gang, and it looks like a log is needed now to roll through the rest of these skeletons, but they're still stacking up. Pulling that Baby Dragon off with the Mortar, very smart choice here. It takes a long time to take that Mortar out, and although it's not looking like it's going to lock onto the tower, it did its job on defense.
Yeah, you're holding off a 4 elixir troop for 4 elixir while threatening the tower and forcing your opponent to react, maybe in suboptimal ways.
He thought that he needed to drop that Mega Minion, and that's 3 more elixir that Vulkan has to play around with. Ace not able to build up for this next big push. He's having to defend with the P.E.K.K.A., but the Minion Horde about to get a lot of damage off onto the P.E.K.K.A. Tornado pulls them away, but they'll still survive.
It was a really good prediction there. I think that Ace thought that Vulkan was going to play a Mortar, so instead of dropping the Mortar into the P.E.K.K.A., decided to go with something totally different, and he caught him off guard.
We get a little bit of the wine in front of you or the wine in front of me to take the Princess Bride reference going here, but Graveyard Poison with the P.E.K.K.A. blocking out in front could be deadly. Vulkan rolls a log, misses one of the skeletons though. Mortar locks on and takes some of it out, but it's triple digits on Vulkan's left side tower now, and the game is in a relative dead heat.
And now it's going to come down to who has the bigger spell, I feel like. The longer the game goes on, I feel like Ace is favored because he can continually press the aggression, put poisons down, and it's only going to take about 3 poisons and maybe a couple graveyard stabs to take that out.
Vulkan running both Zap and Log has got plenty of options to deal with the goblins that have been storming in, but he doesn't have any big spells to lock it. Oh,
hits the tower.
Nice splash damage from Vulkan there. Can he get another support card out there to help?
Oh, it hits again.
Wow.
The second shot at the very tippy edge of the Mortar splash range did hit the tower. Now it's down to 411, but there is no rocket to finish this off.
Don't call it good luck. Vulkan definitely planned that, and it's unfortunate for Ace, but he's making a big hit now. Log rolls through the skeletons out the back, but the Graveyard hasn't quite finished the tower off, and that's a King Tower activation. Doesn't really mean a whole lot since the next Poison's going to win it for Ace, unless Vulkan can turn this thing around fast.
Very few cards left that he can do to finish this off with. Now that Miner is going to get some damage, but he's got to get back to Miner very quickly. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it because we've already seen 2 more cards out of Ace. That Poison's going to be back.
He got the Mortar shot!
Oh, it's
a
on!
Loggers have to finish the game. That's a win for Vulkan!
What a turnaround! They're going wild! The 8th seed in this King's Cup did not even need Surgical Goblin to defeat the #1 seed.